couple of years ago, I was told that a very dear friend of mine, a former colleague in both Deep Purple and Whitesnake, keyboardist John Lord, had been diagnosed with cancer. And one of his requests would be for us to reform some kind of Deep Purple Mark III reunion. And so I said, yes, absolutely, I'll be there for you, you know. Sadly, John passed away. It was a time of loss for me, losing my beloved Auntie Sylvia, my brother, my brother-in-law, to all in this short space of time. So I collected these imaginary olive branches to offer people, because the epiphany I had was just, life's too short and too precious to hold any animosities and stuff. It's just not worthwhile. And one of the things I wanted to do at that time was reach out to Ritchie Blackmore, the guitarist with Deep Purple. I looked upon Ritchie and John as the colossus of Rhodes musically. To stand between them and learn so many incredible lessons at my 21, 22 years old was extraordinary. He said, would I be interested in working on a reunion aspect, a Deep Purple scenario, without John, of course, you know. So, you know, we talked a little further, and then I spoke with Ritchie's representatives and stuff, and a lot of the ideas weren't really appealing to me, unfortunately. But knowing me, as I do, I was already doing preparatory work on these songs and hoping Ritchie would be open to bringing them up to date, reappraising some of them, you know, because I was a kid writing this stuff. So when I withdrew from this potential project, I was having dinner with my wife, Cindy, and I said, I've done all of this work. It's so sad, you know, that it's not going to see the light of day. And she said, well, why don't you do it under the Whitesnake banner? And it was you know, I took a little time to think about it, and I spoke to my musicians and asked how they'd feel about it, and everybody was incredibly positive. And I spoke to our record company, the Delightful Frontiers, in Italy, Serafino and Mario, and they were big Purple fans, so it was all systems go.
I know that it's the most exciting thing that David's ever said to me. And David said some pretty exciting things, you know, like, we'll be touring with the Scorpions next year. And, you know, that was exciting for me. You know, there's been moments, but that was a moment, because all of a sudden that music just flashed before my eyes, and I was just thinking of all the different things we could do, and, you know, it was such a great idea. I said, Jesus, how'd you come up with that? What a killer idea.
When David first brought up the concept of re-recording the Deep Purple classics to me, I lost my mind with enthusiasm over it. Honestly, the level of inspiration was like instant and huge. So immediately began, dedicating myself to not only learning what Ritchie Blackmore had done with the material, but also to what I could potentially do with it to, pay proper respect, but yet make it my own.
I was excited, man, because I grew up listening to those records, you know. So, yeah, man, great bass lines, some great tunes, great riffage. Yeah, it's exciting.
Often told you stories about the way I lived the life of a drifter, waiting for the day.
They're all iconic songs to millions of people. So there's certain things you can't change. You know, I've rearranged stuff and added new bits. Stuff, snaked them up, I think, is the best expression. But I'm delighted with how the songs stand up after over 40 years. I mean, you know, the elements are there. And when you hear this with the guys playing, I mean, Tommy Aldridge came in here with the attitude of a 20-year-old punk. He is driving this stuff extraordinarily well, you know.
Tommy, those last five, that last whole bar thing, man, you shined. You shone.
I need one.
I was inspired by Deep Purple music because it was like so fiery and so in your face, and it was really, really, really cool music, you know. And it was obviously it was different, and it was original to what was going at the time, which I think is one of the reasons it had such huge impact, you know.
Deep Purple changed the landscape of hard rock as we know it. So, I mean, that's almost impossible to answer, how they've affected me as a musician. They're huge. They're one of the titans of rock, true monsters of rock. So, like I said, they changed the landscape of rock and roll as we know it. So it's affected everything that I've learned.
I think that the quality of these songs most definitely stands up 40 years later. Absolutely. The writing is there, the riffage is there, the vocal is there. Everything about it, absolutely. It can still be a very relevant sound. It's funny listening back to the tunes now. I'm like, wow, if we wrote this yesterday, it would still have an impact. It was cool.
It's blues-based rock, which just ages like a fine wine, baby. Well, I mean, when it comes to balancing paying proper respect and making it your own, each moment is a judgment call, really. I mean, I have such huge, immense respect for Deep Purple and Ritchie Blackmore as a player, so that certainly is always there. And then it's just, as an artist, trying to be true to yourself and what you feel is important and what you may have done back then on the session.
I like to look at Whitesnake as chapters. And this is a brand new sounding chapter of Whitesnake. We've specifically gone for a cleaner, more powerful, punchy sound. And it's going to be immediately noticeable. It's obviously, you can totally hear it's Whitesnake. Mrs. Coverdare's little boy singing, so that's a giveaway. But we've gone for a much bigger, cleaner, punchier sound than the overdriven guitar sound of the last 10 years. So that really is a fresh start for me.
To get the project up to speed or to a place where we can actually lay down the songs proper, we do some pre-production. We come up here to the studio and listen to the tunes, bang them around. David's got lots of ideas for maybe some chord progressions that weren't in the original, or how to snake up the tune, as he says, right? That's what we do. We spend most of our time doing that. We demo that up, live with that for a bit, and then make changes along the way. Keeps it exciting.
David's there for every moment of the recording. It's like his baby. I've never seen an artist be so involved in their stuff. And really, all of his ideas, 98% of his ideas are really good ideas. And it almost pisses me off. I had no idea that David was such a good songwriter. He's always right. It's really something.
Sail away tomorrow, sailing far away to find it still a borrow. I'll be there someday.
Working with David on this material has been fantastic. I mean, he's a guitar player's dream to work with, really. He's a really well-rounded and open-minded musician, I think much more so than people even realize. So, for me, I've always been that of that like mindset. So to work with David on this has been fantastic, and I'm able to showcase versatility and a lot of the things that other rock scenarios don't allow.
Oh man, we had a ball. Like the first day we got together to start doing some basic tracking with Tommy for drums. I knew right away as soon as we went into the first song. I was like, this is going to be really cool. This is going to be something really special. Because just the three of us, Tommy, myself, and Reb, just jamming as a trio with David in the vocal booth, it sounded badass.
Coming out of nowhere, driving like rain. Storm bring the dance on the thunder again. Dark cloud gathering, breaking the day. No point running 'cause it's coming your way. Ride the rainbow, crack the sky.
Michael is an amazing addition to Whitesnake. He's a beautiful boy, great singer, fabulous bass player. And he really, well, all of the guys, I must say, rose to the occasion. But Michael's come in with a bass sound that the dreams are made of. My heroes, John Entwistle and Jack Bruce, and this big, confident, proud foundation to build on. And the rhythm section of Tommy Aldridge and Michael Devon's unbeatable. The drive, I mean, we can build so much on top. This is literally, Michael's part of the foundation of we're going to build the brand new Whitesnake Hotel. I swear to God, it's going to be so fun.
Michael Moorcock, Stormbringer.
That's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Kicked
ass.
Mr. Jasper David Coverdale, boys and girls.
I have one that it's special because of how we recorded it. So, yeah, I'd say Mistreated is probably my favorite of the new batch. When Tommy was here laying his drums, I was playing alongside him just to hold down the arrangement. And if I could get a bass line, a keeper in there, I would. I came back to do my bass weeks later. I didn't really comb through what I had played with Tommy because I was home. I was sort of fine-tuning this stuff. I figured I'd just come in and nail it all. But when one late night, Reb and I snuck into the studio and we pulled up Mistreated, and I listened to my bass playing with Tommy, and I was like, I can't compete with that. That was live, and we were playing together, kind of a perfect symbiosis going on. So I didn't touch it. That's what you hear is, lots of that is live, lots of the album is live, but that one, no punches, no nothing, just as is, so.
If you're drifting on an empty ocean with no wind to fill your sail.
I've always loved the song Sail Away, and I wanted to strip that down. It was an amazing riff that Richie came up with. And when I first started singing it way back on the Burn album, I went, oh my God, I've been up all night writing it. And I started to sing it, and it's, if you're drifting on, and with this big, boom, big heavy riff. And I went, oh my God, as I'm singing, I'm going, oh my God, it's too low. This is the first time I ever made a record. An actual record was with Deep Purple, and it was the Burn album, which was a remarkable experience. But I'm sort of halfway through it, and I went, oh my God, I'm sorry, it's too low, still nervous being the new kid. And John Lord, bless his heart, came running in going, Davey, lad, Davey, it's marvelous, don't change a thing, But I've always, when I started working on these songs a year or so ago, it just came to me, just this, like an acoustic, very lonely, reflective song, which is what it is. But as we started playing, Joel is an extraordinarily gifted acoustic guitar player. So I said to him, look at this in Soldier of Fortune. I want you to own it. Don't just recreate it. There are certain elements you have to, the introductory melody, the solo melody in the middle. But the rest is your oyster. Just, fill your boots.
If you're drifting on an empty ocean with no wind to fill your sail, the future, your horizon, it's like searching for the Holy Grail. You feel as no tomorrow as you look into the water below. There's only your reflection, and you still ain't got no place to go.
I've just always enjoyed playing acoustic guitar a lot. I'm a well-rounded musician, I would say. I enjoy playing a lot of different styles, and to be given the opportunity to take some of these Purple classics and apply them to acoustic guitar at David's request is really an honor. And I was super excited and dove right in.
Originally on those ballads, originally on Sail Away and Soldier of Fortune, there wasn't supposed to be any bass. It was supposed to be David and Joel, I believe. And I flew in, and it was, hey, don't bother going to the hotel. Come to the studio, because we got some work for you. So I showed up, and they handed me the acoustic bass, and it was like, we want to put some bass down. I think David just misses the low end when it's not there. You know, I know I do. But, yeah, so we sat in here and just kind of laid it down.
I feel like I'm going to surrender. These hard times, I've had enough. If I could find a place to hide my face, I believe I could get back up.
We are definitely planning a Whitesnake acoustic, up close and personal scenario, and I'm dying for that because I like telling my stories and just singing to people. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I love Light and Shade, and Whitesnake covers a multitude of sins. Just looking at like Sail Away, deconstructing it and make it more of an acoustic, you know, lament was really cool to do. Writing the new piece of Burn with Reb was very brave and courageous, but we wrote it within the context of a 70s approach. And, you know, everything was deadly serious and respectful.
Anything that's got a big jam in it, you know, I'm all about jamming out. And that's the other cool thing about, you know, the original records is that they just jammed out. You know, David would just go off and smoke a cigarette while they're, you know, doing 5-minute guitar solos and organ solos. And there's some of that on this, you know. There's a heck of a lot of guitar playing. There always is on a Whitesnake record, but I think a little bit more so this time. So that's exciting for me. But yeah, all the big jam songs, that's the ones I'm into.
That was one of the interesting things too, when Richie and I were talking about perhaps coming back together to do something. I went, well, he won't want to do any songs from the Come Taste the Band album because that was after he'd left. And then I went, well, he's still going to want me to do some of the Mark II stuff, you know, so maybe there might be compromise there. So that was liberating to be able to put in these songs, you know. And one thing we discovered amazingly is Reb Beach and I have an incredibly complementary voices together.
Well, you know, You Fool No One is my favorite just because it's got all the elements of the songs that I liked growing up, you know, like Toys in the Attic. You know, it's got the riff. It's a fast riff. And it's one of the songs where, you know, I get to sing with David Coverdale. And there's a couple of parts which are actually kind of duets with me and David. And this was the greatest honor of the record for me. And the first time that we did it, we discovered that our voices blended perfectly, that I had been singing with David for 11 years. And he'd never really heard my voice, you know. So I just, you know, made my vibrato so it's kind of like his vibrato. And it blended just perfectly. So to hear a recording, you know, with your voice and David Coverdale's voice. It's like, you know, your voice and, you know, Pavarotti, you know. It's just like, man, I sound good.
Glenn Hughes and I were the unrighteous brothers of blues, rock, soul, you know, and just sang together so naturally, so organically. And even though Reb and I have worked together for over 10 years, I didn't know how well we gelled. And of course, with him singing with me all these years, he's a very accomplished lead singer. With him singing with me all these years, he knows my resolves, my trills, the way I finish a line, you know. So it was very, very cool to discover that. And really, it was no hesitation from my co-producer, Michael McIntyre, and I to invite Reb in to be a co-producer.
I wanted to come here and show David what I could do, and I wanted to be the music director. I came out here to work with David, and because I was interested, and I wanted to hear what they had so far, and I did some singing, I played some keyboards, I told them what I thought, and played some guitar, and I was hoping David would ask me, and he did.
And he's done an amazing job. He's had probably the busiest year of anybody on record. He works with his own group with Kip Winger called Winger, and they've been doing gigs throughout the summer, and he'd fly straight here from Montana, wherever he was, you know, and go straight to work. As soon as you know, he was done, he was back on the road with Winger. It was a courageous and heroic adventure. We invited Joel Hoekstra into the band, a fantastic guy, amazing guitar player. I think Whitesnake fans are gonna embrace him immediately, and he's brought an extra musicality, which is just amazing, you know.
DC I mean, he's really great at this. He's really great at like putting people in certain situations, and he gives you some direction. He says, "Go do your thing." He gets the hell out of your way, which is really amazing, you know. And I really love that about him. And what it does is it puts you in a situation where someone is there being very, very supportive, and giving you all this inspiration and motivation for you to be yourself and do whatever it is that you do. And he's really an ace at that, you know. And I've always respected that and admired that in him. And he just said, "Man, just go for it and do what you do," you know. And that was pretty much it, you know. And he said, "Just let us go." We talked about, you know, with Rebby and Michael and stuff when we first got in here, and trying to do what we thought would be enhancements, you know, and just maybe shining a little brighter light on certain areas that were already there and already present on the original recordings, but just shining a little bit of a brighter light on it. And coming back and hearing what these guys have put down is amazing. It's gonna scare the hell out of a few guitar players, you know, when they hear this record. There's some amazing stuff going on.
I've never fucking heard this shit, Michael, and I've heard some stuff.
Yeah.
Well done, kid. Beautiful.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that'd be like, "No fucking way you playing that weird shit on this."
Well, we're not other fucking guys, dude.
No, this is just the fucking perfect fit, man. This is the band I've been meant to be. Oh man, I'm so excited to be on board the mighty Whitesnake. It's a dream come true. Working with David is just awesome. He's rock royalty, and you know, the band. I mean, Red Beach is a monster, one of the most really underrated guitar players of our time. And Tommy Aldridge is an absolute icon, and Michael Devin is just smoking. I'm just so happy to be on board and have the opportunity given to me, and just grateful to be here.
One of the things that's going to be incredibly exciting for me is to do a half Deep Purple and a half Whitesnake show next year on tour. It's going to be great.
You know, David asked me which would be my favorite of these songs to perform live, and my answer was all of them. I really want to play them all. They all have something different, and I love each one of them. So just any and all of his material is a guitarist's dream.
I'm most excited about playing Love Child is cool. I like the riff of Love Child. It's a great hook. We've played Burn and we've played Stormbringer. Those are always great and exciting. But some of the new stuff, I would love to get into Mistreated. You Fool No One is a good song. Might Just Take Your Life is cool. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
These will be a big part of what we do on the next tour, I'm sure, because people want to hear it live. And these songs are going to be it's going to be so much fun playing these tunes live, you know.
Yeah, it was essential to be respectful of the music that was already put down before us. This is music that, for some, you know, they've grown up with these albums. These albums have been in their collection, you know, from their turntables to their 8-tracks to their cassettes, CDs, you know. So it's important that we preserve what is exciting about it, what is catchy about it, what made it work then. That was pretty important for all of us.
It's a tribute, a homage. It's a huge thank you from me for the opportunity I was given. You know, as I said to Richie, you know, you guys set me on a journey that continues today. And I couldn't have asked for better professors. You know, the University of Deep Purple was an extraordinarily amazing school to learn, and I still, to this day, utilize good lessons and some not so good lessons I've observed back in the day. But there's no element of any disrespect. I don't do comparisons. I'm extraordinarily proud of what the guys have brought to the table, and it's a salute to my former colleagues and a celebration of the incredible music that we made together.
And cut. Very, very good.
Oh, it's a wrap?
Almost.
Oh.